When your thoughts start to spiral and worry takes over, it can really feel hard to find your footing. In this video, I'm going to go through a simple 3-minute grounding tool that you can do practically anywhere, and it's super easy to apply. All right, let's jump in. When we're stuck in worry, we really focus on these abstract fears, right? And a lot of times we tend to time travel. We're focused on the future, something that could happen, really catastrophic, or we're focused on the past, something that like really spun us out and that could happen again. So what's really helpful is to help you come back to the moment. So this is kind of this safe object technique. There's different ways that you could do this. This is just one variation of it. I wouldn't encourage you to do this if you are driving or operating some type of motor vehicle or anything like that. But anything else, you're pretty much fair game. You can do that. Maybe if you're walking or you have to have like intense focus, clearly don't do that either. But other than that, if you're at your desk or listening to this, you can do this at any moment. So I want you to pause this video and find an object in your vicinity, something that you could actually pick up and hold. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can just be anything that you can pick up. For my purposes, I'm going to use my Apple AirPods case that I tend to generally have in my vicinity. Eventually, you could do something. You can really pick an object that feels meaningful. But for this exercise, just pick anything in your vicinity. So once you have this object, you're going to really take a moment to really notice it. So really kind of focus on like the texture of this, right? So like kind of using your sense of touch. So for me, this would be like there's like some hard ridges here. There's some more sharper edges at different points in my case. Then it's pretty smooth, kind of like the silicone. So you're just going to take a moment, whatever object you have, and really allow yourself to feel that. And I find it's helpful to describe it back to yourself as if you were describing it to someone who never seen it before, or maybe you're trying to write it down in a book. Next, focus on the temperature of this object. So what does it feel like against your skin? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it kind of just lukewarm? So for me, this is pretty much kind of like neutral, lukewarm. It's not pretty cold or pretty hot. Maybe a little bit more leaning towards cool because it's not hot. I could even, if I wanted to open it and like, feel inside and decide like, okay, are my AirPods hot? Maybe I've used them too much. So I could check the temperature of that as well. Next, notice its weight. So is it light? Is it heavy? What does it feel like? And you can see even as I do this, like I'm kind of like moving it around. I can move it from one hand to the other. Sometimes it's kind of a little bit like it feels like a puck. So it's kind of like not really light, not really heavy, but it's not light. Like it's not like just nothing. There is some weight to it. So kind of just notice what that feels like in your hand. Like I said, you can move it around. You can just even notice what it feels like as you like put it in your hand, and what places in your hands really touch it. And then finally, take one final look at it and see, is there anything new or different that you've never noticed, or any unique detail? So for me, again, there's this kind of like a little hole here on the left that I've actually never noticed. You could pop out something. I assume if you want to like tie like a rope or something to it, or a string, or attach it to your keychain potentially. There is the hole in the bottom where you connect it to plug it in, right? So just again, take a moment to really describe any other details of this object. Now I really want you to just remind yourself, this object here, this is my anchor. This I am using to bring myself back to the moment. In this moment, I am grounded, I am steady, and I am present. No matter what is going on with me on the inside or what's showing up in my mind, I can use this object to help myself come back. Doing this, if you start to notice that worry starts to show up or an intense, uncomfortable feeling, just really redirect your attention back to this object, right? So can that skill redirecting, that's really what we're doing. We're coming back to this here and now in this moment. In this moment, this thing is present. Whatever is showing up here is also present, but we're choosing to direct our attention, put the spotlight on this object, and remind ourselves that here we are, present and grounded. So you would do this when you're starting to notice that your worry is spiraling a little bit and it's causing you to get activated. It's particularly when you're starting to notice this activation in your body, because something that's really helpful with coming back to the present moment and like using your senses or grounding. And again, there's so many different ways that you can ground. This is just one that I find is easy and unique, that you can really come back, and it's going to start to kind of shift your attention and also activate this parasympathetic part of your system. A lot of times when our anxiety starts to go, that fight or flight response is getting activated, and then our body is having that reaction. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring that back to the system of like that calm, that soothed self system that we can tap into at any moment. So if you tried this technique live with me, comment below what was your object, what did you use, and how did it land for you? Again, I'm not saying this is like an end all be all or magic, but this anchor, this ability to just find anything in your environment to help you come back is something that you can apply at any moment. You can do this when you're at your desk and you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're having a meeting, right? You can kind of silently to yourself take a moment and focus on your pen and noticing the texture. And then when you're ready, come back to redirecting your attention to what's happening in the meeting. Or you're in class and you're starting to space out, like take a moment and feel the texture of that paper or laptop. Maybe people don't use paper as much anymore. Or like the keyboards, what does that feel like? And then when you can redirect your attention. So what you're doing is you're grounding yourself in this moment and saying, whatever you need to remind yourself that here you are present in the now, right? Your worry might be future or past, but in this moment, you are choosing to focus on something and you are safe. I'll also do some variations on this. So for instance, like here on the screen, I'm going to put different things that you could say instead of what I said. So I said, I'm grounded, I'm steady, I'm present in this moment. You can also say like, I'm safe, whatever you want. But here's some other very clear variations that I find are helpful with people that struggle with worry. So it's okay to feel this and let go. I don't need to fight these thoughts now. I can pause and let this moment settle, right? I don't have to control everything right now. I think that's a big one, especially when we try to be in control. And then this last one, these thoughts are temporary. I can let them pass. Again, you can also make it your own. Think about what you would need to say to yourself in that moment, not to really get stuck in this back and forth with your mind, but just to help kind of this affirmation that whatever feels right for you without this, like, I need to challenge this, but just a reminder, refocus on what's important here or what I'm aiming for. You can also do this. You can start off by really taking a moment and centering with your breath. So noticing like you're breathing for a moment, like taking a deep breath, like holding it and letting it out, or just taking a moment to like really ground your feet first before you focus on an object. So you can do this a lot of different ways. If touch or picking an object and sight doesn't really do it for you, you can pick a completely different sense. So kind of your five senses, I find that's really helpful to help you come back. So if you're someone that maybe smell is the thing that really helps you, have something around like an essential oil or something that you can smell, or sound, right? Take a moment and put on a song, but when you listen to the song, really see if you can pick out the different instruments, or really see if you can describe the lyrics or pick out a lyric that you've never really paid attention to if it has lyrics. So really you can use anything to help you kind of come back to this moment and redirect your attention. Comment yes below to let me know that you're going to commit to practice this at least once this week or in the next 2 weeks whenever you really need it. I hope this was a helpful exercise for you and that you already start to feel a little bit more centered and grounded. But this is just the first step. So the first step is to really help you recenter, but then you want to really shift the way you're looking at your anxiety and your worry overall. Check out this next video where I go through some ways, some common traps that maybe you're getting stuck here. And like I always say, I encourage you to continue nurturing your mind, body, and soul, whatever that looks like for you. Thanks, guys.